word cancer, it's like that I was taken back from it, you know, and it was pretty scary. My whole baseball career, not just as a Rocky, but as a child playing baseball all the way through high school to college to now. You know, there's things that you learn through baseball that you can apply to life. If you take it in the right way, then you can apply it to almost anything that's happening in your life.
That's just the way it is, so don't knock me down when I get my feet back on the ground.
I have grown to appreciate baseball even more so, but it's all secondary. What's first is my family. That's what got me through this for sure.
When I get my feet back on the ground.
Complete game shutout for Chad Bettis. The gem of Bettis' career thus far.
I don't view it as poor me. I feel like I'm better for going through it now than where I was at before as a person. I feel like I've tried to enjoy the process and tried to getting back to enjoying baseball and being around these guys. It's been a hell of a ride.
I wanted to be normal again and play ball and get back to helping our team win.
And so now Chad Bettis gets ready to come all the way back. And again, I cannot imagine what's going through his mind right now.
Please welcome to the field your Colorado Rockies. Defensive alignment for your Rockies, presented by Scott. Left field, Gerardo Parra. Center field, Charlie Blackmon. Right field,
You know,
Carlos
you saw that
Gonzalez.
sign right there, and that's one of the things that I've been thinking about, and I'm sure you have as well, Spilly, that this is not only uplifting for the Rockies as an organization, but because Chad was so front and center and so honest about what he was going through and candid about what he was going through. So many other people have been lifted through his fight. So many people who are going through their own fight. And so it is a particularly special night for all of those folks, all the cancer survivors out there, to watch Chad Bettis. You're big on social media. You were checking it a short while ago. You came across, for instance, Andrew McCutcheon, who does not know Chad Bettis at all, other than, you know, they're colleagues in the same business, if you will. And he had a marvelous message. Among many, they're paying attention tonight to what's going on at 20th and Blake in Denver, Colorado.
I think when you look at a night like tonight for Chad and for just baseball, it's the opportunity to see somebody go through something and inspire.
Bettis is back August the 14th, and you go back to last winter when he was first diagnosed. It's at an anniversary dinner when he found out officially that he did have cancer. And he went through surgery and then thought he was home free basically, and then found out that it had spread. He went through 9 intensive weeks of chemotherapy, finished that up in May, and in early June he was back with the club. He made 6 appearances, 5 starts in rehabbing, trying to get right back here. And his first pitch in his return is strike 1, and Jonathan Lucroy is going to toss that ball aside. Chad can put that up on his mantle. 14-8 last year. A 7-2 record in the second half last year with a 3.75 ERA. Ender Inciarte tried to lay down a bunt. It's 0-2. One thing that you will recall, I'm sure, because it's not all that long ago, but Chad Bettis works as quick as anybody in baseball. Here's the 0-2. Inciarte, an all-star this year for Atlanta. In fact, he's second in the National League in hits to the guy who plays center field for the Rockies. This Braves team may be 11 games under 500, but they have some parts to it.
Well, that's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge for Chad's first game back. I know I love the pace. That's something that we've always just adored when you see Chad take the mound, is how quickly he gets the ball and gets ready to compete.
0-2, that serve to left. Parra comes on, it gets by him. And Inciarte can really run. In fact, this could be a situation where he tries to score. They're going to send him. And the throw to the plate is in time. Out at the plate. Lucroy, a great tag.
What a way
How
to
about
start
that
a
for
game.
a start? Trevor Story made a beautiful throw.
Excuse me, swing off the bat. Parra trying to make an unbelievable play for Chad. And that's to the farthest part for Gerardo. There's no backing up. There's nobody there when you're diving in left field, but the relay throw from Trevor, strike to get Inciarte at home plate.
That is a perfect throw by Trevor Story. Well, one out. Brandon Phillips up. 7-6-2 on that put out. Phillips takes a strike on the inside corner.
You have to look and make sure that the catcher gives the proper sliding lane for Inciarte, and that's exactly what Lucroy does. He doesn't block the plate.
You nailed it too, Spilly. You were an outfielder. You are a guy that wears his emotions at times on his sleeve. Gerardo Parra is that kind of guy, and you know what? Ordinarily, he's going to let that ball drop, keep it in front of him, base hit. That's all he'd be concerned about. And he wanted to lay out as if it was the 9th inning and the winning run was at 3rd.
You don't think this game matters?
You can't fault him for that.
No, you can't, and that's what I'm saying. You don't think this game matters to the guys on the field tonight. It's not just a normal August 12th, August 14th baseball game at Coors Field.
2 outs, and here's another guy that's familiar with all-star games and other such accolades. Freddie Freeman, who when healthy this year has been a terror. .322 batting average, 21 home runs. He missed more than 6 weeks with a broken wrist when he was hit. And Freeman lines this toward Cargo, and Cargo is going to let it drop as that ball had topspin on it, came over the top of it. So Freeman with a single with 2 outs, and that'll bring up Nick Markakis. Here's the Southwest batting order for Atlanta tonight. Brian Snitker will have Kurt Suzuki batting behind Markakis. Danny Santana's in left field. Matt Kemp remains out. Ozzie Albies is a young man they really like a lot. Dansby Swanson, I'm sure you've heard of. Former top prospect, one of the top prospects in baseball. He'll bat 8th. And then Julio Teheran. 2 outs, Markakis at the plate. And he takes down low. Markakis has hit much better out on the road than at SunTrust, their new home ballpark, which
I find that hard to believe.
that is surprising. He's played as an offensive park so far. And the Rockies will see SunTrust next week.
Markakis is not your prototypical cleanup hitter. Likes to spray the ball. More of a doubles hitter, gap to gap. Doesn't strike out a lot.
Inside. Nick Markakis, more than 2,000 hits in his career. And this ball is on the ground to DJ, and that's all. Nice start for Chad Bettis, and he'll get a standing ovation coming off the mound in the 1st inning.
Don't knock me down when
It's up a 0 in that first inning. Now the Rockies will try to get some runs for Chad in his return. Here's the Southwest batting order tonight for the Rockies. Charlie Blackmon, who has scored a run in 9 straight, brings a .335 average into the ballpark. DJ follows it up at .311. Then Gerardo Parra at .345. He slides into the 3 spot as Nolan will wash tonight. Mark Reynolds will bat cleanup. Cargo, Jonathan Lucroy, Patty Valleca. He's at third base. Story is at shortstop batting 8th. And they'll face a guy that has had a lot of success in his career and success against the Rockies, Julio Teheran. Not having a good year this year, especially at SunTrust. He's been much better out on the road.
Look at a guy like Teheran. He's been in the big leagues since 2011. He's only 27 years old. He took a loss against the Phillies. 5 innings pitched, gave up 5 earned runs. For him, it's been the long ball. 28 home runs this season.
16 have come against lefties. In his career, lefties have slugged .458 against him. So it's not just this year. Throughout his career, they have been a problem for Julio. Foul tip. The Rockies have won 10 consecutive ball games at home against the Braves. Overall, they've won 14 out of 16 against Atlanta. Kind of turned the tables on them because for years this was the one team that the Rockies just could not beat. You understand it in the early years because Atlanta was winning division title after division title in the East. And Teheran gets a strikeout on Blackmon. That'll bring up LeMahieu. DJ yesterday was 2 for 5 in the Rockies' 5-3 loss in Miami. You wouldn't believe this, man. Or maybe you would. Do you know that Stan hit another home run tonight?
I don't even know what the field looks like to him right now. It probably looks like an infield, and that's it. You just put the ball past the infield, it's a homer.
I was going to say, what do you mean field? He doesn't hit the ball in the field. He hits it over the wall. He doesn't have to worry about anybody fielding anything. It's crazy, isn't it? 43rd home run. That passes Gary Sheffield, time leader in single season homers for Miami. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a called strike, 1 and 2. Teheran is out of Colombia. And this is caught out there by Nick Markakis. Hung up just a smidgen too long. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Parra. Let's take a look at the Braves defensively. Move some bodies around. Brandon Phillips, most notably, goes from 2nd to 3rd. It's his 11th game there, and he's playing really well at third base. He had never played there save 1 ball game in the low minor leagues. Freddie Freeman doing his thing at first. He was playing some third earlier this year. Inciarte's a Gold Glove center fielder. Veteran Kurt Suzuki's behind the plate. Parra takes a strike. Second game that Parra has hit the 3-hole this year. The first time he did, it's a beautiful thing. 3 for 3, 2 walks.
I always felt like a player that gets to hit third, confidence-wise, you feel good. You look up on the big board, you're seeing your name up there right in the 3-hole spot, and you're saying, I'm a big league 3-hole hitter.
Yeah, puff your chest out a little bit, right? Grab the bat, Spilly, by the barrel and walk up there with a little strut. Mama taught you that.
That's right.
2 strikes on Parra, and down the line just fell. Here's Nolan again. Great news on Nolan. Swung the bat a little bit inside today. Took some ground balls. The glove fit that left hand. He was a little concerned about that, and could, if necessary, pinch hit later. So, Rockies really dodged one yesterday. And you nailed it, Spilly. You said the first thing you're scared. It hurts a lot. Everything numbs up, and you don't know the severity of it. You went through it. Fortunately, the same thing occurred for Nolan that occurred with you. It was a day or two, and you were back in there.
That's the scariest part. As soon as you get hit, your hand starts throbbing, your hand starts shaking, and then worst case scenario always goes through your mind. And that's always one of the first thing a trainer makes you do is squeeze their hand. And you can't. Your hand's shaking and you don't want to even try. That's what we saw with Nolan yesterday. He tried to squeeze Scotty Garrett's hand, couldn't, and then walked straight into the dugout, try to get an X-ray.
Yeah, that's when you knew it was, fairly serious. When Nolan did not really make any move toward first base. Another 0-2 pitch. In the air to left field, pretty well hit, but back there is Santana. He'll make the catch. So the Rockies go in order in the first against Tehran. Chad Bettis, round 2, when we come back.
In the Braves bullpen. He was a Rocky at the beginning of the season, and he got picked up by Atlanta. You know that he's involved in the K Cancer Foundation, and I talked to him today about Bettis hitting the hill, and he was a happy guy.
When I saw he was going to be throwing today, man, I got a smile on my face right now. But I was super jacked. I don't get emotional now, but I was like pretty jacked up, pretty emotional. I was like, man, it was pretty awesome. I was pretty excited for it.
And if you want to know what kind of a guy Jason Mott is, how about earlier today before the game, seeing some of his old teammates, and what he did was he donated $50,000 to Children's Hospital so that Children's Hospital in Denver can continue their spring training trip next year for some of the kids at the hospital.
Well, I know that for Jason, he didn't throw the baseball as he would have liked in a Colorado Rockies uniform, but this is a guy that has done a ton off the field, and he's truly committed, not just lending his name here and there. This is a guy that has dug in, he and his wife, and happy for him that he's found a home in Atlanta currently. Kurt Suzuki's behind 1-2. First time Chad's throwing that curveball up there. Last year, Chad would throw the curveball a little less than 10% of the time. Fastball, slider primarily, works in a changeup. And another curveball, and it's popped up to first baseman Mark Reynolds, 1 out. Fans, join in on the conversation tonight. Send us your thoughts on Chad, photos, questions you may have. Use Twitter or Instagram at AT&T Sportsnet RM, and do not forget to use the hashtag Toyota Talk. Here's the switch hitting outfielder Danny Santana, former Minnesota Twin, raised as a Twin earlier this year in May. He was traded by Minnesota to Atlanta. Good outfielder, runs pretty well.
Has been a better hitter this season, hitting left-handed than right-handed.
That's a fair ball. And Chad didn't get over initially. Look out. Reynolds slides in, and Santana is out. That's a heads-up play by Mark Reynolds, and I'm sure Chad will be forgiven this time. He didn't break initially.
Off the bat, Chad thinks the ball is foul. You can see he's moving over and he thinks it's foul. And then Reynolds, the heads-up player that he is, realizes that Chad's not going to be there in time, outstretches his leg.
That's such a smart play, too, by Reynolds.
Tell you what,
he's had more contact, I guarantee you, than any first baseman in the sport this year, right?
He's got to be up there. And I think when you're watching Santana diving into first head first, if he goes standing up, there's probably another collision, maybe even worse.
So Chad did move in that direction initially, but I think, like you did, he thought it was foul and kind of shut it down somewhat. Here's Albies as he lines this ball to Cargo. This is well hit. Cargo reaches up and makes the grab. He is not all that big, but he packs some punch. We'll talk more about Ozzie Albies as the next few days unfolds. 8-pitch inning in a 1-2-3 second for Chad Bettis. No score, middle of 2 at Coors Field. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by the 2017 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores and by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. With Ryan Spilboards, Mark Stott, and our entire AT&T Sportsnet crew, we go to the bottom of the second. Julio Teheran against Mark Reynolds. Sitting on 23 home runs, and he takes strike one. Teheran will work off that extreme first base side of the rubber. And that's his little cutter slider, and it's in there for a strike. Dan Bellino's kind of got a deliberate way he calls strikes. You have to wait a second.
Very Tim McClellan-like.
Yeah. 0-2. And a little comebacker. That'll bring up Carlos Gonzalez. In his career, Teheran, a 2.53 ERA, Coors Field 4.15 in 3 ball games. Let me correct something. They made a switch. That didn't look like Dan Bellino. That's Jerry Lane behind the plate. Put a couple years on Dan Bellino.
I don't think he'd appreciate it.
Yeah, there's Jerry. Sorry, boys. Margo takes outside, ball 1. And he gets jammed, and there's a pop up to shallow center. Inciarte will make the play, 2 outs. 5 straight to begin the ball game retired by Teheran. Fans, if the Rockies score 7 in a game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6, and you will receive your Rockies taco special at Mas and Taco Bell. So here's Jonathan Lucroy, who's been on base more than half the time in a Rockies uniform. He's getting his walks, got hit 4 times. And he takes a strike. Lucroy, a career .326 hitter against the Bravos. 4 for 11 against Julio Teheran. Make it 5 for 12. Home run for Inciarte, and Lucroy will take a wide turn but stop. So the Rockies have their first base runner. And that'll bring up Pat Valaika.
Lucroy gets a fastball up in the zone. He does a great job of pulling the hands in nice and tight. You can see how the hands stay close to his body. Even though he's hit the ball opposite field, that is the swing that Lucroy has had in the past when he's had those all-star campaigns.
I think leaving Texas, coming to Colorado, back to the National League, you get to push the reset button. He's back to being who he is as a hitter.
I ran into Lucroy's parents in Miami the last couple games, and they were talking about how excited Jonathan was once he found out that he was getting traded from Texas to Colorado. One of the side notes that he told his parents earlier in his career, they asked him what was one of his favorite stadiums, and he loved playing in Milwaukee. But he said, Mom, Dad, you have to come to Colorado. It's beautiful.
This ball's driven to center field, and Ciarte will move back, but we'll have a play that'll end the inning. So we'll go to the 3rd. Chad Bettis has thrown up a couple zeros, so has Julio Teheran. It's the Timeless Moment brought to you by Coors Banquet. It was September 5th of last year, and Chad Bettis threw an absolute beauty. Complete game shutout of the Giants. Keep in mind, Chad, in his last 7 starts at Coors Field, is 6-0 with a 249. So success at Coors Field not unfamiliar for him. That's our Coors timeless moment. We go to the top of the 3rd. Dansby Swanson, the pitcher Tehran, and then Ender Inciarte. Chad worked a 1-2-3 second. Here's the young shortstop, Dansby Swanson, and he takes a strike on the inside corner at 88. We've seen 88 to 91. I think one of the things you have to keep in mind with Chad, he's still getting his strength back.
Minor leagues, he didn't throw over 85 pitches in any of the starts that he had.
That's an easy play for Valleca on one hop. Let's take a look at who the Rockies will throw at Atlanta. This is a 4-game series. And all the guys are pitching exceptionally well at home. Kyle Freeland, man, Denver's his home, and Coors Field's his new home. 3.19 ERA. You got to like that. John Gray, 3-0 with a 3 so far this year at home. And Jeff Hoffman's last couple at Coors Field have been just outstanding. Here's Tehran. It's a little bit south of the knees.
I think watching Chad's journey from going through chemotherapy to spending the time in the backfields with the guys during spring training, going through his rehab, out here every day when he started to play catch. The coolest part was how his teammates rallied around him. Remember the first bullpen we saw him pitch in Arizona, the guys are saying, man, the guy still brought his paintbrush.
Back up the middle, a base hit for Tehran. With 1 out, he's aboard for Inciarte. It was a very interesting start to the ball game if you missed it. Ender Inciarte hit a kind of a dime line drive toward left. Gerardo Parra, you know, he wants to make a diving catch, so Chad gets his first man in his return. It goes all the way to the wall. Ron Washington sent Inciarte trying for an inside the park home run, and a great relay from Parra to Story, and a perfect throw from Story to Jonathan Lucroy. Got Inciarte, so he got credit for a triple, but he was out. 7-6-2.
Well, Inciarte was the name in the trade a couple years ago, back in 2015, when the Atlanta Braves traded all-star Shelby Miller to the Arizona Diamondbacks. It included Dansby Swanson, Aaron Blair, another guy, big-time prospect.
Yeah, Swanson got most of the play nationally because he was one of the top prospects in baseball, top pick in the draft. But Inciarte, Atlanta did their homework. They knew they were getting a heck of a player. And so far at the big league level, this has been the fruit of that trade. And you know, Swanson, again, he's a kid still. He's struggling with the bat, but they hope in time he's going to be a real solid big leaguer. 2-0. 2-1. This will be interesting. Second time through the lineup for Chad.
I also think second time through, he's probably starting to settle down, getting back to a rhythm. The emotion of making it back is now in the rearview mirror.
And this is pulled foul.
You still look at that trade between Shelby Miller and the Braves. I mean, that was a big reason why the front office changed, why Dave Stewart was fired.
Going to be an owie for Inciarte. Jonathan Lucroy will go out, only to give Inciarte a little bit of time. It's kind of what catchers do.
Well, and Chad and Lucroy are talking about throwing the same pitch again right after.
You know, Spilly, when you faced a good sinker baller and you do that, you know it's coming back in there again, right?
That
Typically,
or you're going to get an off-speed pitch down and away.
Flailing at it. Bettis last year against National League East teams went 4-0. '28-year-old Chad Bettis, the senior member in experience and age of the Rockies rotation. He's a year older than Tyler Chatwood. 2-2, 1 out, Teron on, and this is in the air to center field. Charlie got a really nice jump on it. 2 outs. 2 outs, and that'll bring up 36-year-old Brandon Phillips, who has been re-energized by the move to third base. He's homered in each of his last 2 ball games. The Braves slowed down the St. Louis Cardinal Express yesterday. They won 6-3. That snapped a 5-game losing streak for Atlanta. It also ended an 8-game winning streak for the resurgent Cardinals.
Phillips had never played a game in the major leagues at third base.
He had 1 game at Harrisburg, and that's allowed the pitcher to move up. Teron to second. One game, he's been a second baseman.
That 1 game in
career.
Harrisburg was 2001. Double-A.
I watched a pregame, and I've seen this before, so have you, Billy, from when you played against Brandon and also now as a broadcaster. Brandon has a routine he never deviates from. He takes out the pancake, whether he's playing second or now third. Chad makes a good pitch here, and he takes ground balls initially with the pancake glove, and then he'll start to work in his glove.
It's not a real pancake, everybody. It's styrofoam.
No, it's blueberry pancake.
Guarantee a postseason ticket opportunity with season tickets. Purchase a 2017 season ticket plan or place a deposit on 2018 season tickets. Go to Rockies.com/season tickets for details.
Trevor Story's going to lead it off. Trevor's batting 8th this evening. Trevor at home last year in 4 games against Atlanta torched him. He had 4 home runs. He was 7 for 14 against the Braves. The Rockies swept a 4-game set against Atlanta last year. They played 4 games against him at Coors Field in 2015. They swept him in those 4. 10 straight wins against the Braves at 20th and Blake. First pitch is in there, strike 1 on Story. Outfield shades Trevor a little bit toward right center. And Did he hold up? Yep, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Teheran's been very effective tonight. He's only thrown 3 balls and 26 pitches.
That's crazy.
Good fastball command, throwing a little slider off of it.
Shattered bat, and this is in no man's land, and it's going to drop. So Story with a leadoff bloop single. That'll make Chad Bettis' assignment simple and straightforward.
Sometimes it's just where you put the baseball. That's a good pitch, down and away off the plate, right where Kurt Suzuki wants it. See on the Subaru Supermo, the bat exploding right in no man's land. Take that as a hit.
Great speed at first. In a scoreless game, bottom of the 3rd. You know, when the Rockies returned from a road trip, they have been just outstanding in that first game at home. 8-1 this year for Buddy Black. Overall, they've been terrific at home. 35-21. They slipped under 500 out on the road, 30-31. Rockies swept in Miami. A 1-4 trip. They split with Cleveland. 2 good ball games there. It's a bunt that's going to go foul. Well, with tonight's ball game, folks, the Rockies have 45 left. Here's how it breaks down, and it's to the Rockies' advantage because 25 will come right here at Coors Field, where the Rockies have fashioned the 3rd best home record in the National League. And they'll play 20 games against teams above 500, 25 overall against teams that are below 500. And it's a strike, 1 and 2.
Let's see if Trevor Story tries to steal. Right now, Julio Teheran leads baseball. Most steals allowed, 21.
He also picks off more guys than any right-handed pitcher in baseball if you go back the last few years. He's got quick feet. As a club, whoever's on the mound has struggled with the running game, whether it's Kurt Suzuki catching or Tyler Flowers. No movement. Outside, 2 and 2. Good take. So Billy, what do you got? You move Story here? It's a little different than when a guy's swinging away. Got that man on deck. You want him to hit with people on base.
The problem is if Chad decides to bunt and he bunts it up in the air, you basically cost yourself 2 outs.
Story's going. Slug bunt was on. He misses inside, does Teheran. And now they're 2 on for Blackman, which is always a good thing. Pitchers never want to walk the opposing pitcher. We all understand that. And especially when he's giving himself up.
Teheran had 3 balls the entire up until Chad Bettis. He threw more balls to Bettis than he did to any of the Rockies hitters.
And Brian Snitker's saying, where did that come from?
Braves infield is not playing like Charlie Blackmon will bunt at all. Let's see where Brandon Phillips is.
Look at that. Charlie squared around. Brandon Phillips was behind the bag.
Well, and that's why Charlie showed bunt, is because he always looks, and that's what a hitter will do. We know these situations. I've talked about it ad nauseum. First and second, nobody out, what you do. It's a bunting situation regardless of who's hitting. But Charlie wants to hit, and at least he'll take a look and see where the infielders are. That's what you're supposed to do. Take a look.
Big swing and a miss, 1-1. Buddy was asked during his press gathering today, it was a very good question, with Nolan out of the lineup today, did he give thought to sliding, you were talking about the coveted 3 spot, sliding Charlie to the 3 spot? He said it was discussed, but he is so comfortable where he is in the lineup batting first with DJ behind him. It was easier to slide up another hot hitter in Parra.
Charlie on that road trip went 9 for 21, which was a .429 batting average. The rest of the team, do you want to know the number?
It was bad.
209.
The Rockies on the trip went 5 for 39 with runners in scoring position. This is their first at bat of the ball game with a runner in scoring position. Story at second, Bettis at first. Outside. Told you that Teheran has allowed lefties in his career to slug .458. 28 home runs allowed is the 4th most in baseball this year. 16 have come from lefties. One thing some of the folks close to Atlanta have noticed this year, at times against high quality lefties like a Charlie Blackmon, he really starts to nibble, which we didn't see in the past with Julio.
And that's probably what Suzuki's seeing. Stop nibbling.
Charlie does own a home run against Teheran.
I think when you're looking at constructing today's lineup, if you're Bud Black, you also have to take into consideration the Rockies only scored 13 runs on that road trip, and Charlie scored 6 of them.
Charlie hitting .402 since the All-Star break, which leads the National League. Parra 2 doors down is 3rd at .374. And a broken bat. Teheran, whether it's to righties or now lefties, has worn out his glove side, pitching on that first base side of the rubber. He's been most effective away to righties and into lefties in this game. .54-50 in his career with Atlanta. Nobody out, 2 on, 2-2 count. First out of the inning. Charlie has struck out twice against Teheran. He goes down and in.
Situation with one of the league's top hitters and how Teheran attacked him. First pitch slider, then followed up with another slider. The 1-pitch fastball away just to put it in Charlie's mind. Got him off the fastball in. Then back to the slider down and in.
LeMahieu line to right. Good play by Markakis to steal a hit from him. This could play into DJ's hands because, again, Toronto's gone away. There's very few students of the game any sharper than DJ LeMahieu. He's been watching the pattern. Two and 0. The Rockies 5 for their last 40 with runners in scoring position. They're #1 in that category for most of the season. Nope, 3-0.
And I think that's part of the reason why Bud Black has been a little bit shy in trying to create offense, just because there's been so many empty at bats. A lot of opportunities for the Rockies hitters to come up with not even a base hit. You don't even need a hit. Fly ball to the outfield, ground ball to the infield to get a run. They haven't been able to do it.
Saw D. Gordon over the weekend. It's Inciarte 117 singles. LeMahieu third on that list. 3-1. And a line drive that's going to turn into a double play. Well, this looked like Miami revisited. Rockies would have traffic, nobody out, and would not score. And unfortunately, here in the thirds, first and second, nobody out, and the Rockies do not score. On AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By the Lodge Casino, your first choice for fun. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Historic Union Station. Always good to be in Lodo. Monday night, the Rockies and Braves. First matchup this year. The Rockies just played 3 against Miami. The last 2 teams in the NL they had not seen this year, Miami and Atlanta. Freddie Freeman, Nick Markakis, Kurt Suzuki, 3, 4, and 5 in Brian Snitker's lineup. Chad Bettis, 3 shutout innings so far. He has allowed 3 hits. Rockies shift for Freeman. They'll put 3 on the right side. And Freddie takes ball 1. Freeman a base hit his first time up. Got an OPS well over 1,000 this year. And that's on the corner, 1-1. Look at the Subaru strike zone. Just got a portion of the outside corner. And then he comes back inside. Good pitching from Bettis. 1-2.
This is the beauty of Chad Bettis, is he has such a great ability to locate right at the bottom of the zone and on the edges.
He has a game plan that he adheres to. I think he reads swings well. It's the first time he's ever worked with Jonathan Lucroy, but you know, Lucroy is such a good receiver, such a smart receiver. And inside at 91, Freeman just got a piece of it. Some interesting parallels to be made between what's going on in the middle of the infield now. Dansby Swanson and Ozzie Albies, the 20-year-old for Atlanta. This is on the ground to Valleca, and he throws it across, 1 out. And where I'm going with this is, if you think back, Spilly, go all the way back to when Jeff Francoeur was coming up. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. He was an Atlanta area kid, Parkland High School. And Francoeur came up with Brian McCann, who also was a Georgia kid. Francoeur got all of the big play, and Jeff had a nice career. But Brian McCann became the better player.
Sure.
Atlanta has done a really good job in their backyard. Freddie Freeman's a California kid. He comes up at the same time basically as Jason Hayward. They're best friends. McCann was very, very close with Frenchie, with Jeff Francoeur. And it was really the co-star who became the star, or I should say the guy who wasn't out front on the marquee who became the star. With Freeman and Hayward, with all due respect to Jason Hayward, Freddie Freeman's the better player. They were best friends, are, to my knowledge, still very, very close. Hayward got all the play. Freeman's the better player. I'm not saying the same thing necessarily is going to be played out with Dansby Swanson and the young man he's played with a little bit in the minor leagues in Albies. But it's interesting because Swanson also is an Atlanta area kid.
Went to Vanderbilt, first rounder. It's the marquee name in the trade.
Markakis gets jammed. Cargo will have, I thought, an easy play. He misjudged that. And the throw to second is not going to get Markakis. Maybe the first time this year we've seen Cargo just misjudge a baseball. It doesn't happen much.
Well, it's the second time tonight that he's misjudged a baseball off the bat. The fly out from Albies in the second inning. And this one off the sound of the bat, it didn't sound right. And I can understand why Cargo ran in and then he can't see it.
Yeah, it didn't sound like it was solidly hit. The ball that Albies hit was blistered. Kurt Suzuki, 1 out, and a fly ball double for Markakis. He popped to first. Suzuki's got some pop in his bat. 12 home runs for Suzuki. Much better against lefties this year. 343 versus 243 against righties. Last 3 years, Kurt was in Minnesota. Just think of him with the A's. Got a couple tours of duty with the A's. Native of Hawaii. One on the 33-year-old outside. 2-1.
Suzuki went to Cal State Fullerton. I played against him when he was a freshman in college. I was a redshirt junior. Pretty much an old guy in the league. Good player.
Good player. Ground ball, middle of the diamond. Staying back on it is Story. Good throw to get Suzuki. 2 outs. Had to take half a drop step there to get a better hop. I give Trevor Story a ton of credit. He's played a beautiful shortstop this year, and Spilly, he has not, for one inning that we can recall, taken his woes at the plate this year out on defense.
There's a chance that
pulled down the line, just foul.
There's a chance that at the end of this season, that Red Rawlings tag on his glove is going to be gold. He's played that well at shortstop.
And I think it's particularly tough to do what he's done defensively as just a sophomore in the big leagues, playing such a prime position, coupled with the knowledge that a year ago he got so much deserved attention for what he was doing with the bat. Runner at third, 2 outs, no score. We're in the top of the 4th. Here's the 0-1 on Santana, and that is ball 1-1. Santana robbed of a hit on a terrific play by Mark Reynolds, his first time up.
The Story this season, 3.2 assists per game. It leads all National League shortstops.
And what that tells you, say, oh, well, he gets more ground balls. You have to get to a lot more ground balls to produce that number of assists. Everybody who's watched him knows what kind of range he has. Ground ball toward the hole. DJ dives. DJ throws out at first. What a play by LeMahieu. Not to be outdone. That saved a run. That is as good as it gets for second baseman going into the hole. To keep the Atlanta Braves off the scoreboard. This ball's ticketed for right field. It's going to be an RBI single for Santana, who runs well, and all of a sudden he's an out. This is gorgeous. And you know, before the ball game, we were inside visiting, as we typically do, with our old friends Chip Carey and Joe Simpson on the Atlanta television side. And one of the questions they asked us is this infield defense, there's Chip and Joe, is this infield defense of the Rockies as good as advertised? And we said absolutely. And in fact, Mark Reynolds doesn't get enough play. And there it was on display. Gerardo Parra fouls that pitch off. 1-1 count. Let's check in with Mark Stott, who has a most special observer tonight.
Very special indeed. Christina Bettis is here. Who is in the suite with you to witness this awesome game?
We have our family here and some friends, and we're cheering Chad on.
Tell me about the emotions when you saw him come in from the bullpen and then walk out to the mound.
I mean, I don't even have words for it. It's absolutely incredible. Like watching Chad take the mound after everything he's been through, he's just persevered through so much, and I'm so proud of him.
You know, I got a chance to be in the clubhouse today and ask a lot of the guys about Chad. And you know what I said? This is a team game, and you can tell how close-knit these guys are because, you know, they had so many great things to say about him.
I mean, everyone has something great to say about Chad. It's just the person he is. Like, he's incredible. His attitude through everything is just so positive, and it's impossible to not like Chad.
That's what John Gray said to me. He said, you don't know when he has a bad day because his attitude is always upbeat. How does he do that?
I don't even know. He's just like a rare breed, and it inspires everyone. I feel like he's just so positive and so upbeat. And I know Marissa, soon to be Hoffman, said the same thing. She was like, Jeff gets inspired by Chad and his attitude, and it's pretty incredible.
That's about, I think, when you hear that from other players, about as good a compliment as he could get. Agreed?
Yeah. I'm so proud to be his wife because he's like superhuman.
Well, tonight he's pitching well. I know that he had said, I'm going to get back on the mound. And now that he's done it.
I mean, the moment he said that and set that goal, I knew it was going to happen. Like, his drive and determination is incredible. Like, I knew for sure he would get back. And now he is, and I love watching him play.
Tell me about the phone call, because Bud Black said that he, Steve Foster, and Mike Redmond, they called, and then he said, I don't know what happened after you hang up the phone. What happened after that?
I mean, he was clearly excited. Like, he really, really wanted to get back here, and now he's getting back to his dream, and this is what he loves, and I really enjoy supporting him through all this.
Well, it's an awesome story. Bettis is back.
Yes.
We are all together for Bettis. We have our.
Thank you for wearing your shirt.
Yeah, we have our
it.
K-Cancer shirts on.
Yeah.
It's been a great night. Everly is doing okay tonight?
Yes, she is. She's eating right now, but she definitely is cheering on her daddy.
Is this her first game to see him ever?
Yes, it is. It is.
Because he made some rehab starts.
I mean, we watched on my laptop when he did his rehab start, but like now this is live. This is awesome.
Congratulations.
I'm so proud of him. Thank you.
You've been awesome. Chad, it's an awesome story. The Rockies season is great.
I know. They're doing amazing. I love.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
Guys.
All right, Mark, thank you. And just such a marvelous night for two wonderful people. And just a footnote on Chad. The battle that he's been through has been so inspiring. This is fouled off by Reynolds. But understand this about Chad Bettis. You hear all these marvelous things said about his spirit from his teammates. Before Chad battled cancer, he was just as well thought of, because that's a spirit that he brought to the clubhouse when everything was just fine from a health standpoint. And it continued on tenfold. Look out. And then the respect goes up exponentially. You may remember in spring training early on, it was going to be, Chad, it was going to be some young pitchers, but Chad Bettis is going to be the leader of that staff. Swung on and missed. 2 outs. 4 strikeouts and 3 2/3 for Tehran. That'll bring up Cargo, who's now 0 for 10 lifetime against Julio after flying out his first time.
Throughout the season, the players carried around Chad Bettis' glove, and he was always on the players' mind. And even in the All-Star game, check out what Charlie Blackmon and DJ LeMahieu had. So they were taking a moment to stand up for cancer. They both wrote Chad Bettis. He was on their hearts and mind at all time. That's why I know today was so special for so many people. And when we say so many people, I mean, we're talking about front office people and the doctors and obviously the Bettises. And not only the Bettises, but there were so many more families out there that were supporting him, or they're watching as they're battling their own cancer fights themselves, and they rally behind Chad. And pretty remarkable.
He's not thinking about any of that right now. He's thinking about throwing up some more zeros and helping the Rockies get a victory in their return home. 2-0 with 2 outs on Cargo. 3-0. Tehran has lost 4 of his last 5. 0-1 with a 7.20 in August. He's throwing the baseball very well tonight. 3-0. Cargo did everything in that take, and I think he was taken the whole way. But he wanted to approach it from a timing standpoint as if he was going to swing. I'm sure you've done that, Spilly. Ball 4.
You have to. There's times where you'll see somebody take a 3-0 pitch and they do not put their heart into it. And you should see what happens to the next swing. A 3-1 count, usually foul it back. We always talk about guys, when you're getting to the plate, even if in your mind you know that you're probably not swinging, a guy's walked 3 straight batters or whatever, you have to walk into the batter's box thinking that you're swinging at that pitch.
Here's Lucroy, had a base hit to right center his first time. He takes a strike. There's a little, there's all kinds of phrases that, you know, hitters use. And one of them is to get yourself in that aggressive mode is hit, 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 take. Lucroy with an 0-1 delivery, and that's up the middle. Another base hit for Jonathan. And now Cargo to second. Rockies trying to rally with 2 outs, and they got Patty Barrels coming up. Matt Valleca hit the ball pretty well to center field his first time. Well, Pat Valleca got the start yesterday at shortstop, and he threw out a 3-for-4 ball game. Eventually moved to third after the injury to Arenado. Trevor came on. And Valleca pops this one up. Dansby Swanson's got it, and the Rockies are done in the 4th. We'll go to the 5th, still scoreless. Chad Bettis throwing up zeros. go to AT&T Sportsnet Arm on Twitter to cast your vote. We show you the results during our Toyota postgame show. Which of the new foods at Coors Field would you like to try if you have not? Apple pie nachos.
I'm in.
Colorado queso stack.
All about it.
Colorado brisket melt. Nothing? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're out on that?
No, where's D? All the above.
All the above.
You gotta pick half.
The apple pie nachos, that sounds interesting.
Try everything twice.
That's your post-career diet, isn't it? Here's Ozzy Albies. This kid's 20 years old. He's a switch hitter. He's 5'8", wink wink. He's from Curacao. And every level he's played at, he's dominated, and he's always been probably on average 2 to 3 years younger than everybody else in the league he's playing in. And it's not only that he's a good young player who runs well, he's got a lot of pop, especially right-handed. His first career hit was a home run a few days back. But he's also been one of the leaders on every team he's been on.
Look at what Rafael Devers did last night against the Yankees.
How about that? Against a 103-mile-an-hour Chapman fastball.
It's the first home run Chapman's given up in forever.
He's only given up 2 in his career to a left-handed bat. And the other one came back in 2010.
It was a 102 miles an hour pitch coming in. And I think it came off the bat well over that.
Here's the 1-2. And a strikeout, the first for Bettis tonight. So Albies is gone. And that'll bring up Dansby Swanson. Swanson hit a one-hopper to Valleca at third. His first time up. Swanson was sent out recently and had to come back. They sent him out. Talking to Brian Snitker today, they said he just needed to go down and clear his mind a little bit. Struggling mightily offensively. He's 9 for his last 76 at the plate. But he was rushed back to the big leagues because the shortstop that replaced him,
Johan Carmago,
who they like a lot also.
That was a freak accident.
And it wasn't even, it was going out to the field.
I've never seen anything like it. He's going out. Hasn't even been the first pitch. He's just running onto the field.
Watch Johan Carmago. He's going out on the right of your screen. And look at that. He was getting ready maybe to jump over the line as guys do. And his spike caught. And he ended up with a bone bruise in his knee. Crazy. And so Swanson, who was down at Gwinnett County, was called back to the big leagues. 2-1 on Swanson. And that's a tad bit inside. 3-1. Been many of those counts from Bettis so far in the ball game. 1 out in the 5th. Chad has not walked anybody. He's allowed 4 hits.
Well, I always point out, hitting at the major league level is so difficult. No matter what round you're picked in, no matter how good you are for maybe a short period of time. Last year in September, Swanson was great. But to do it over the course of the season.
3-2, line drive, base hit toward the gap. Cargo trying to cut it off. Swanson is in second with a double.
That's Swanson's 3rd hit since being recalled after that injury. He's 3 for 18 now. And he knows Chad Bettis doesn't walk anybody. Fastball down and away. That's a good read from Swanson as well. That's in front of him, and that's That is baseball instinct. You have to trust your eyes, trust your arm, trust the arm of the outfielder, and know that for Cargo to get to that ball is going to be difficult.
There's a strike on Julio Teheran, who had a sharp single up the middle. His first at bat. A strike, 1-2.
See all the pitches well within the Subaru strike zone. The second pitch, it's called a ball. It's okay.
One, two. Story's got it, and that's the second out. Bring up one of the toughest hitters in this Atlanta lineup, Ender Inciarte.
67 pitches now for Bettis. He's due up second next inning, and you're looking at what he did in the minor leagues on all those assignments, on his rehab assignment, then when he was sent down on as an option to get his arm back in shape. 84 pitches was the most he threw. And he did throw 70s last start against New Orleans, but if you remember, that was his start against the Baby Cakes where it got rained out.
He went through another 20 in the bullpen right after that, which again, it's not the same as being out on the mound, but he's stretched out. Now, is he going to go throw 110 pitches tonight? No, you're not going to see that. But could he throw 95 if he's pitching as he is right now? Depending on, other factors, complexion of the game. When his spot comes up, as Spilly just mentioned, but he would be very comfortable with that. 1-0 on Inciarte, and a ground ball foul. Inciarte has 491 at bats this year, which leads all big leaguers. Charlie second with 476.
RBI Baseball 2017 has fast-paced MLB action with all your favorite MLB teams, players, ballparks, and more. Get RBI Baseball today for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and mobile devices. Learn more at rbigame.com.
Inciarte from Maracaibo in Venezuela, same home city as Juan Carlos Gonzalez.
Gonzalez and Inciarte have a great history together. They've known each other since Inciarte was a kid.
Cargo's 5 years older than Ender. You know this, Billy, from playing as long as you did, that the Venezuelan baseball community is a very tight one.
Well, and they've grown tighter this year.
With all of the political strife, absolutely. Here's the 1-2, and it's popped up. Lucroy hoping for a play, won't have one. That's in a strange location, because if Jonathan could have made a straight line to that baseball, he may have been able to reach in and make that catch. But it's impossible to do that. Players from Venezuela have appeared in the big league game this year. Swanson at second, 2 outs. And this ball's in the air to Parra, who started in. Now he's got to go back, and he'll still run it down. So Parra made a little L route, but he makes the catch, and Bettis walks off. Atlanta scoreless through 5 at-bats. Well done, Chad. Chad Bettis, welcome home, you bet. After battling testicular cancer, back in the big leagues here on August the 14th, and he's thrown 5 shutout innings. Toronto's has thrown 4 shutout innings, and Julio begins Trevor Story with a breaking ball away, and it's 1-0. Story had a base hit his first time up. Bloop single to center. Ball, 1 strike on Story. Out front, 1-2. Big Ryan Howard now in the fold with the Rockies. He was 1 for 6 in his first couple of ball games. He had a double last night. Tonight, a 2-run double from Howard. A look-see for the Rockies at the former National League MVP. Nothing to lose, everything to gain potentially. Story goes down. 5th strikeout for Toronto. That'll bring up Bettis.
Like the Topes, they're trying to push Ryan Howard on the Rockies right now. All his hits have been extra base hits. Rockies could use a couple extra base hits right now.
He played 11 games, Billy, for Gwinnett County in the Braves organization earlier this year, and then he was released. Brian Snitker was asked about that before the ball game, and he said, you know, I wasn't watching him. He said, obviously, the scouts at the time there didn't think that he'd be able to impact the big league roster, so they let him go. He lives in Atlanta now, and Brian said something that, having played against him, and As a broadcaster, I know, having dealt with him many times, and this is a class act. So it's a win-win if it works out, because he's always been a guy that you want to be around as a player. Two balls, 2 strikes on Bettis. Walked his first time up. He was trying to bunt Trevor Story to second. And that's strike 3. Teron is not resembling the guy that we heard about coming in, the guy that had been struggling mightily. 6 strikeouts. He's allowed 3 singles in the game. Lucroy a sharp single to right center, then a hard ground ball up the middle, and that bloop single off the bat of Story. That's it. In fact, 2 of his 6 strikeouts have come against Charlie Blackmon.
He's not been predictable tonight. A lot of first pitch off-speed pitches. He's pounding the strike zone, which is so important for anybody. Came into tonight's game with 50 walks in 130 innings. We know that walks will kill you at Coors Field. There's only 2 of them.
Rockies had runners at first and second, nobody out in the third. Charlie struck out, and then LeMahieu lined into a double play. And then last inning with 2 outs, they had first and second. Valleca popped out.
Charlie's not picking it up against Julio. You can tell just based on that swing. 2-0 fastball, pretty much center cut. Charlie fouls it straight back. That extreme first base side. He has a little bit of a short arm in his delivery. And then he throws a very good slider off that fastball.
That's what he got Charlie on in his last at bat. Charlie drives this one to deep center, though, and Ciarte going back and will make the catch off the bat. That thing was hit maybe a little bit better. Still scoreless. Now it's time for the Unlimited Baseball Break, brought to you by T-Mobile. News around the ball game: Giancarlo Stanton, National League Player of the Week. That's a shock. 5th time in his career, hitting a home run like every other at bat. He hit another one tonight. Joey Votto's reached base 2 more times in 18 straight games. That's absurd as well. The big league record held by Ted Williams back in the 40s, 23 straight. Tyler Clippard's on to his 3rd team this year. Brandon Phillips at the plate. He takes strike 1. Phillips a ground ball to short, and also a comebacker. Freddie Freeman, Nick Markakis to follow here in the 6th inning. And that ball cuts a little bit. Phillips misses it. It's 0-2.
Chad on the night, 9 of 20 first pitch strikes, but he's been able to get back into counts because of his ability to throw a cut fastball, a little sinker. He's mixed in the curveball. We've seen everything. If there was a kitchen sink behind the mound, he probably would have thrown that too.
Chad's worked mostly 89, 91 with the fastball. Next pitch will be number 77. Brandon Phillips in an exclusive club among active players who have 200+ home runs, 200+ stolen bases. He's in that group with Carlos Beltran, Hanley Ramirez, and Ian Kinsler. Four pretty good names. To right field, Cargo can't get there, it's foul. Brandon's also closing in on 2,000 career hits. He's got 1978.
Doug just handed me some numbers on Brandon Phillips this season. He swings at 56% of the pitches he sees, 42% of those he's chasing. It's the third highest in the National League. Kind of the...
Remember he had blocked a number of trades from Cincinnati. Didn't block this one this year to Atlanta. He's from Stone Mountain, Georgia. He's kind of going home. Story. Great throw. Boy, is he smooth.
I just like how he circles the baseball, even though he knows he's going to his backhand. Pay attention to how he circles and gets around it to get that momentum, to get him kind of moving towards first, but it still gives him enough of an angle to get to this baseball.
He does a lot of the things in such a similar fashion to Troy Tulowitzki. That play in particular. And Freddie Freeman hits it on the ground to DJ, who's in the outfield. 2 outs. A lot of ground balls induced by Chad Bettis tonight. That'll bring up Nick Markakis.
The next Bike to the Game is Sunday, August 20th. Ride your bike and enter to win great prizes courtesy of UC Health. Get more info at rockies.com/green.
Markakis a double his last time up. Another strike, 1 and 2.
Chad is in his happy place right now.
He ought to be. He's pitched a gem of a game. 2 outs in the 6th, nobody on. 1-2 on Markakis, and that is see you later, strike 3.
The paintbrush is out.
Yeah, he brushed it on the outside corner, maybe a little bit off. He got the call from Jerry Lane, a little cutter on the back door. 1, 2, 3, 6th inning. Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. A picture-perfect Colorado evening. Capital in the background. The Rockies and Braves are scoreless. 6 impeccable innings from Chad Bettis in his return. 11 ground ball outs, a couple of strikeouts as he converses with Buddy Black on the Rockies bench. It'll be LeMahieu, Parra, Reynolds. Get Chad a run, or 4.
10. Why not ask?
Or somewhere in between.
I'm asking for the moon. Why not?
DJ tonight, a line out to right, and he hit a line drive to the second baseman Albies, which turned into a double play. And on the ground to third, he comes up on Phillips, and he has time to recover. Tell you a funny story about Freddie Freeman, who came back because Matt Adams, they went out and got Matt Adams when Freeman got hurt, because the Braves actually were playing really good baseball after a slow start. They got to 45 and 45. Well, Adams was tearing the cover off the ball. So Freddie said, listen, when I come back, I'll go play third. And that's what he did. Now, Freddie is a big seed guy.
I know, I love this story.
When he went to third, he said, I can't have seats. He said, I am terrified over there. He did a nice job, by the way.
Did a great job.
Yep. He said, but I have to fully concentrate. As Parra fouls this off. So I don't want anything. I'm not chewing gum. I'm not eating seeds. And when he got moved back to first, and Matt Adams was moved to the outfield, the seeds came back. First game back, he was pouring them like he was Matt Holliday in left field. They were coming out of a faucet. Parra tonight, fly ball to left and a strikeout.
Well, Freeman wins teammate of the year just based on that he was willing to go to third base out of position for a teammate so he could get him in the lineup.
And this is their big star.
I thought it was a bad idea. You looked at what Freddie Freeman did in the minor leagues. He played only a handful of games at third base and made several errors, throwing errors. This year he played 16 games at third base, 1 error.
He handled it fine. Matt Adams is not playing the outfield tonight and probably will get only spot duty. This ball is well hit left center field. See how well it was hit. Santana is out there, and that's why. Because the outfield is so large at Coors Field, Brian Snitker didn't feel it was fair to Matt Adams to put him out in left field. Since Santana's a really good outfielder, you just saw that on display. 2 outs.
Fantastic play. Both Ender and Ciarte, the Gold Glover, and Santana giving chase. All comes down to the angle. Pay attention. Both guys are coming to the same spot. Santana's calling it. Have to make sure you're loud enough. Even though the center fielder has control of the outfield, if you have the better read, you can sell it by how loud you're yelling, I got it.
Strike 1 on Reynolds. Mark a roller back to Tehran, also a strikeout. The top 4 in the Rockies order, so productive almost on a nightly basis. Tonight 0 for 11. Lucroy has 2 of the Rockies' 3 hits. Storia pop fly single in the 3rd. And this is another easy play for Tehran. And he has been sharp. So has Chad Bettis. We move on to the 7th. This is unusual. 2 zeros on the scoreboard at Coors Field. opportunity. Lexus look back. It's all about Chad Bettis tonight. Hearing it from all of his fans. Welcoming back after battling testicular cancer, going through 9 weeks of chemotherapy, and he has been brilliant in his return. 6 shutout innings. He's out here for the 7th. Julio Teheran also has been very good tonight. You don't often see this. 7th inning, a couple bagels on the scoreboard. Top of the 7th, it'll be Suzuki, Santana, and Albies. Pat Neshek has gotten up to throw. 84 pitches in for Bettis. Suzuki popped out and grounded out. Again, 11 ground ball outs induced tonight by Bettis, the native of Lubbock, Texas.
One of my favorite things about Chad Bettis throughout this entire ordeal, you sent him a text or a tweet.
That's down the left field line. Suzuki's going to have a double.
Well, if he reached out to Chad Bettis during his ordeal, he would send you a response right back, and you always appreciate that. Hanging curveball in the Subaru Supermo. Kurt Suzuki, and one of the few mistakes that Chad has made out over the plate. Rips it down that left field line.
This game's a little reminiscent. Back in 2008, Dougie did some digging. The Dodgers were in town playing the Rockies. Aaron Cook went for the Rockies. A fellow by the name of Greg Maddux, who ended up winning 353 games, as you recall.
Good pitcher.
Good pitcher. Here's the bunt. And Bettis just did get Santana. That was scoreless into the 10th inning. Troy Tulowitzki base hit to win it for the Rockies in the 10th. Rockies have added Mike Dunn on the left side. So Suzuki at third with 1 out. The Rockies bring the infield in. And Ozzie Albies, a line out to deep right and a strikeout.
Rockies will bring the infield in.
Albies pops it up shallow center. Suzuki not particularly fast. Charlie underneath. Here comes Suzuki. He'll stop. And the throw is on the money from Charlie Blackmon. 2 outs.
Well, Albies tries to do his job, and he puts the ball out into center field, but with the catcher running, this is difficult. You try to stay behind the baseball so you can gather the momentum and then let your momentum carry you forward. Lucroy loves it. Suzuki gives a couple stutter steps down the line. It's also fun to watch as you're looking at a guy like Pat Valaika. He'll stand in front of Suzuki to try to blur his line so he can't see the ball.
Well, this is interesting. They're going to pitch to Swanson, and it's going to work out. Charlie putting his glove out, makes the catch. First base was open. Teheran was in the on-deck circle. Bettis works out of a little situation in the 7th. How do you like this? 7 shutout innings from Chad in his return.
having chemotherapy. He's now through 7 in a scoreless game. Now let's give you another quote from the ordeal that he's been through that Drew and Spilly have been talking about. I don't view it as poor me. It's something I had to go through, and I feel like I'm better for going through it. I've tried to enjoy it. I've tried to get back to enjoying baseball. It's been a hell of a ride, and I'm sure he has enjoyed himself immensely tonight, guys.
Not only, I'm sure, has he enjoyed it, we've enjoyed watching it. Now get him a run or two. That last inning, even with a runner at third, Spilly.
This is hilarious.
Yeah, Buck's having fun watching him.
Oh, he gave him handshakes. Chad was trying to talk himself through it.
That's like a father right there. Proud of his kid. 7 beautiful innings. And you know what? As Cargo takes a strike, no matter what would have happened tonight, as Parra gives him a big bear hug. It was a win for Chad Bettis. Could not lose tonight. But who knew that he threw out that kind of performance? 7 shutout innings. 1 ball, 1 strike on Cargo. Fly ball to center and a walk tonight. Rockies have had just 5 base runners. Leo Tehran has been outstanding as well. Steve Foster. That's off of Tehran. Cargo digging. Cargo will have a base hit.
Chad had his game face on the entire evening. Now it's time for the Rockies to repay him the favor. Line drive off Tehran's glove. He tried to get to it, but he couldn't. Lead off batter on and see if the Rockies can find a way to score something.
Lucroy's 2 for 2. Sharp line drive single to right center. And a hard ground ball through the middle of the diamond. It'll be cool to see tomorrow. Chad will have the hoodie on, back in the dugout. Everything back to normal.
Well, I know he said when he was watching Jameson Taillon in Pittsburgh, he was on that trip, and he was just picturing himself. Taillon himself was going through testicular cancer, battled back. He's pitched extremely well for the Pirates. Chad said that afternoon, he's like, I cannot wait for my moment as well.
Cargo takes off, straight steal, low throw. Cargo stay on the bag. He's safe. And you want to know how much this game means to the Rockies? That's about the 3rd time this year Cargo's taken off. It's just not part of his game anymore. And he swipes second base on Tehran.
22nd steal on the year against Tehran, and that's number 3 for Cargo. Lucky he kept his hand and his cleat on the bag.
He's putting on the brakes with his knee, with his
everything,
with his other hand. Pickup by Suzuki, otherwise Cargo would have marched to 3rd. Well, in the Atlanta bullpen right now, you have a couple of erstwhile Rockies. Jason Mott on the right side and Rex Brothers on the left side. Yeah, Rex back in the big leagues and throwing the ball well for Atlanta. Lucroy trying to move Cargo at the very least. Nobody out, no score, 7th inning. 3-1 on Lucroy. Just in case, he knew this guy was going to grab a bat at some point. He could be 20-4 right now, and he'd find a way to have a bat in his hand. Feeling good, Skip. I'm ready. Lucroy draws a walk.
Quality at bats.
Now, Spilly, I've never heard anybody articulate the first and second situation with nobody out better than you have. And it's one of your favorite subjects. Chuck Hernandez goes to the mound. What do you do here with Pat Valaika? You have Story on deck. We know Trevor's struggle. We know he strikes out a great deal. Behind that, you'll have a pinch hitter.
Look, you're trying to score a run. That's what you're trying to do, and this is your opportunity to build it. It's the only situation. First and second, nobody out. You have to move the guys over. Most likely what's going to happen, eventually Trevor's going to get a hit, and you're going to have to trust your players. That's the beauty of this game.
And we know this, Pat Valaika is an outstanding bunter.
Look, if you don't want to just straight sacrifice bunt, then go ahead and drag a bunt down towards Brandon Phillips.
Who great fielder in his career, but he's inexperienced at third. Two on, nobody out. And Valaika didn't shorten up. The pitch was way outside, 1-0.
Valaika in his last 26 games, .419 batting average, 5 homers, 17 RBIs.
And Phillips right now is a step behind the bag at third. And Valaika goes.
Fine, you get 1-0 pitch. You have a chance for a pitch you can handle. Go ahead and swing now, 1-1. Rockies need to find a way to score a run. You have to manufacture it one way or another.
2-1. And this may be the confidence that Buddy has in Pat Valaika, who's been swinging the bat very well. He's usually very disciplined at the plate. That looks like Nolan's going to swing the bat here this inning. Good pass, 2-2. Rockies' best scoring opportunity since they had 2 on and nobody out in the third. Charlie struck out and DJ lined into a double play. Valaika strikes out. Story is not going to hit. Here comes Nolan right now. An interesting move by Buddy Black. You just assumed that Nolan was going to hit in the pitcher spot. But here he comes with 1 out, and here comes the crowd.
This will be Nolan's second pinch hit appearance this season.
Nolan is just 1 for 10 career-wise against Julio Teheran. Time to change that around. Called strike. Nolan hit yesterday. X-rays at the ballpark in South Florida, negative. Yesterday he said even after the negative X-rays he wasn't positive he'd avoid the disabled list. He was hopeful. Today, back in there pinch hitting already. I talked to both of us today. I think he hopes to start again tomorrow. Just his 6th career pinch hit, 2 for 5. He loves these situations. Gargo at second, Lucroy at first. They're going to capture it. One and two. Next pitch, number 100 from Tehran. Amarista is on deck. Going to get out of play.
Well, years ago, Troy Tulowitzki broke his left hand. It was in Minnesota. It was hit by a pitch. And when he returned in September, he's having difficulty swinging. So all he cared about was putting the barrel to the ball, not swinging as hard. If you remember, I think he tied Babe Ruth that month.
15 homers, 40 driven in.
Sometimes a little injury to your hand, you just try to put the barrel to the ball without swinging too hard.
2-2.
Tehran, throughout the evening, his best pitch has been fastballs away to righties with a slider off of that. That fastball up and in, to me, was for show. He's probably trying to get right back to the slider down and away.
Right there. It made Jerry Lane flinch for a moment. It is inside the Subaru strike zone. Called ball 3. Full count with 1 out.
Jerry's probably telling Nolan that was a good pitch too. Hey, 3-2, you're probably not going to get the same call.
Will umpires do that, Spilly?
They will. They'll say that's a good pitch, and you know that they just missed one.
Here we go, 3-2. And Spilly, having taken 6 million swings as a baseball player, watching Nolan, no grimace, and the bat speed's there. Doesn't look like a guy whose hand's bothering him right now. Maybe it's adrenaline, but the swings look Nolan-esque. Popped him up. Two outs, and it will be left to Alexi Amarista. So the Rockies' issues with men in scoring position continue.
This was the at-bat of the night so far. Tehran, knowing that Nolan's going to be looking for fastball, throws him a couple off-speed pitches outside. With the 2-0 count, tried the same thing. Pitch for show up and in. They've gotten away with one. And then the final pitch, another pitch that Nolan just missed.
Here's Amarista. Strike one on Alexi. Amarista pinch hit yesterday. Struck out looking. A pitch hitting appearance in all 3 games in Miami. He's going to battle out of an 0-2 ditch. Gargo led the inning off with a line drive off the glove of Tehran for an infield hit. He stole second, then Lucroy walked behind him. Jonathan's been on 3 times. Valleca struck out on a 2-2 pitch. Saw Nolan foul out. 2 strikes on Amarista.
Above the belt. Tehran's pitching tonight.
He's certainly capable of doing this. He's a guy who's pitched at the front of this Braves rotation for a while now, in the midst of a 6-year deal. Old foul. He's locked up through 2019. As Billy mentioned it earlier. It's a name we've heard for a long time, but he's only 26. One and two.
Next pitch for Tehran will tie a season high 110 pitches.
Strikes out Amarista. The Rockies again fail to score. They had runners at first and second, nobody out. It'll be on the bullpens. We go to the 8th. Time for our Kubota pitching performance. Chad Bettis. You could not have asked for anything more. 7 shutout innings. You kidding me? 6 hits. Didn't come close to walking anybody. A pair of strikeouts. Just 90 pitches to navigate the 7 innings. You go back to last year. In his last 8 ball games at the hitter's paradise known as Coors Field, Chad has fashioned a .215 ERA. Interrupted by a little battle with cancer, huh? Just a hiccup for Chad Bettis, I guess. Boy, a special night. And now, in a scoreless game, we go to the 8th, and Mike Dunn will take over. Mike, a former Brave, on the mound. Alexi Amarista will play shortstop. Let's go downstairs as Lane Adams is going to be the pinch hitter. It's 9-1-2 for Atlanta. Here's Mark Stout. Mark?
Drew, you just mentioned the moves. I want to show you this. Hopefully you can see this. It's from a far distance, but Nolan Arenado was the first guy out. He went all the way out to third base. Bud Black is at the home plate with the ump, and they called Nolan back in. He went right to third. He was the first guy out defensively.
Just used to it.
He's trying to sneak his way into the game. Bud saying no. We're not risking anything more than that pinch hitting appearance tonight. Adams pops this ball up to shallow center. Charlie glides in, and the Atlanta native makes the catch on Adams, 1 out. Next up, Ender Inciarte, 1 for 3. Inciarte came the closest to scoring a run in this game, and he was the first batter of the game. He lined a ball toward Gerardo Parra, and Parra, I think, partially it's his instincts and partially getting caught up in Chad Bettis's return, laid out to try to catch it. It got by him, and Inciarte was waved around by Ron Washington, and if not for a great relay, would have had an inside the park home run. That was the first hitter in Chad's return. Story made the throw. 2-0. Two balls and a strike.
With that pinch hitter, Lane Adams, we know Tehran is out of the game, and Rex Brothers will come into the game to face Charlie Blackmon.
Tardy swing, look out. Ciarte concerned about if that hit a fan or not.
It's amazing in this game and age where StatCast rules all, and you're looking at exit velocity off the bat. Ender Inciarte, do you know what his average exit velocity is? It's 83 miles an hour. Major League average is 87.
He just punches the ball around. Not this time. Mike Dunn comes back and strikes him out. 2 outs in the 8th. Spilly, what do you got there in your mitts?
University of Wyoming fans, come watch the Rockies take on the Milwaukee Brewers on Saturday, August 19th. Purchase the special ticket package to receive a limited edition Wyoming Cowboy themed Rockies hat.
Let me help you out here. You get your headset in the way as you're trying to put the hat on.
This thing's actually better like this.
There you go.
This thing is super sweet.
Let me pull it down a little bit, but there you go. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, who was the guy that used to wear it? Was it Mike Fetters who used to wear his hat like that?
You couldn't see anything but his nose. Line drive. DJ's got it. Nice to be 6'4" with hops. 1, 2, 3 inning from Mike Dunn in the 8th. Takes a hit away from Brandon Phillips, maybe a double. Well, before the game and in between innings, the Rockies honored their first ever skipper. Last Monday, humanity lost a great one. Way too young. Don Baylor lost a 14-year battle with cancer. Passed at 68. And our thoughts and best wishes to his wife Becky and the entire Baylor family. You talk about a leader. You talk about a guy that did it the right way on and off the field. That was Don Baylor, and the Rockies made such a marvelous selection for their first ever skipper. Could not have done any better. Of course, Baylor led the Rockies to the postseason at the time faster than any expansion franchise. Third year of existence, the Rockies were playing the Braves in 1995 in October. Donnie, after 6 years, moved on, managed the Cubs, came back in 2009 with you, Spilly, and again in 2010 as the Rockies hitting coach. 1 ball, 1 strike. The former Rocky, Rex Brothers, Tennessee kid, is on the mound facing Charlie Blackmon.
It's good to see Rex Brothers. It's been about 2 years since he's been back to the big leagues. Some shoulder issues, he got them fixed. There's a chance that he was never going to pitch again. And now Rex facing one of his best friends in life, Charlie Blackmon.
And you know, looking at the velocity, it's back because it had dropped off for Rex. Did not pitch at all in 2016. Rex has always battled some command issues, but it's good to see him back in the big leagues. One of the true good guys. 1-2 on Charlie. That's off his foot. Charlie 0 for 3 against Tehran. Last time up, he had a ball almost to the warning track in center. The first 4 in the order for the Rockies. It typically does such heavy damage. 0 for 12 tonight. Zip, zip, bottom of the 8th. Charlie hits this ball well left center field. And nobody's going to catch this one. Blackmon to second. Blackmon headed to third. Here goes the triples leader in baseball. Leadoff 3-bagger. Just in the nick of time. When you need him most. Get a pitch up in the zone, and Charlie just smells it. He's been hitting the ball so much better this season, opposite field. Splits 2 very, very good defensive outfielders for the Braves, and right when he hits second base, he does not even look at Stu Cole. He knows he's getting to third. 14 triple for Blackmon. They'll walk DJ and go left on left with Parra. Next highest number of triples behind Blackmon's 14 is 9. Billy Hamilton in the National League has 9. The leader in the American League has 9 also. The Rockies team record is 15 triples. Dexter Fowler in 2011. Dexter also had 14 in 2010. Castellanos is the guy in the American League with 9. So Gerardo with the infield in, trying to produce the first run of the game. Ball 1. fouled off. Parra has seen brothers only twice, 0 for 2. Reynolds, who's on deck, is 0 for 1.
Brothers very familiar with Coors Field, pitching 147 games here. 11 saves with the Rockies.
Here's the 1-1. Parra, bouncer, and it goes under the glove of Swanson. Blackman will score. 1-0 Colorado. Get it in play, you never know. And for Swanson, if it's an error, it's his 15th. Rockies take the lead in the bottom of the 8th. Pitching change coming for Atlanta.
Yeah, infield's drawn in. Dansby Swanson looks up too soon, thinking that Charlie Blackman might go on this ball. But Charlie was not leaving at all. He was going to make sure the ball went through the infield before running.
One nothing Rockies. Nobody out in the 8th. By Charlie Blackman. They intentionally passed on LeMahieu. Gerardo Parra hit a ball to the right of Dansby Swanson with the infield in. He was trying to pick up the in-between hop. Went under his glove. E6 is how it scored. The Rockies lead it 1-0. First and second. With Reynolds coming up, nobody out. And he's going to face his former teammate, another Rocky, and Jason Mott. Was released by the Rockies on April 5th, signed 6 days later with the Braves. Ball 1.
Mott's fastball has returned to him. It's gone up back to 93 miles an hour. The Rockies, we saw change in arm angle, change in velocity. And in his time with Atlanta, he's regained both.
Falls behind 2-0. League hitting just .219 to underscore your points against Jason. Most pitchers at some point have to reinvent themselves. As you said, the fastball's back a little bit, but it's not where it once was. He's not the 97 to 99 guy. 2-0. Outside, 3-0. Blow it wide open. Rockies still without a hit with a runner in scoring position tonight. 3-0. Ball 4. They're loaded up for Cargo. Cargo, a walk and a base hit, stolen base as well tonight, 1 for 2. Brian Snitker's pulled his infield in. They have to try to cut the run home at the plate. Get the force there. DJ at third, Parr at second, Reynolds at first. Cargo swings at a pitch that may have been down and in and out of the zone. It was on the Subaru strike zone.
Like a cutter that Jason Mott threw to Cargo down and in, and that's where most pitchers have been trying to get Cargo. He's handled the pitch away. He's not shown a great ability of late to handle the inside part of the plate.
And Cargo fouls it off his foot. It's 0-2. And again, that pitch boring in on him. Used to keep pitchers, Spilly, out of there by getting the bat head out, hitting a couple into the seats and right. And they'd have to change their plan of attack. He's not been able to do that this year. Lucroy on deck. Bases loaded, nobody out. A run in already here in the 8th.
The Rockies are third best in Major League Baseball with the bases loaded, hitting .351 as a unit.
Well, by percentages, I hope at the very least the Rockies add 2 more on in this inning. And a nice little lead to Greg Holland. Five on that fastball. Two strikes. And a base hit to center. Around third, here comes Parra, no throw. 3-0 Colorado. Cargo comes through. That was large.
Jason Mott continuing to try to go inside to Cargo. The ball just runs back out enough for Cargo to pull his hands in. Good read by Gerardo off the bat. As soon as it was hit, he knew he had a chance to score.
You know, Cargo hasn't gotten scorching hot, we know that, but it's been better. He's now hit 18 of his last 20. Lucroy hits this ball to deep right in the corner. Look out. Did he make the catch? He did.
I think he did.
Wow. What a play by Markakis, and there's a dent in the wall.
Well, I know Mark Reynolds at second base. Very big IQ for Reynolds as far as baseball goes, but with nobody out and a ball hit down the line, I think Mark thought it was going to go foul. He did not go back to touch the bag. It's unfortunate because he should be standing on third on this ball.
Yeah, either way, fair or foul, you tag.
I'm watching Reynolds shaking his head at second base because he knows better.
Here's Baleka. Pat's 0 for 3. Pitcher spot is due up next. So Ryan McMahon has a bat. Last guy available other than the backup catcher, Ryan Hannigan. And this is back to Mott. And they're going to turn it over. Cargo comes through with a 2-run hit. And the Rockies will carry a 3-0 lead to the 9th at Greg Holland. Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by the Wyoming Office of Tourism. Wyoming is full of adventure. It's time to find out if you are too. That's why. TravelWyoming.com. 9th inning at Coors Field after a bunch of bagels for 7.5. The Rockies put a 3 spot up. Let's check in with the gang in center field, led by Jenny Kapnar. Jenny?
All right, Drew, thanks so much. Joining with Corey Sullivan and Jeff Houston. We're getting ready for the Toyota postgame show. Love the unsung hero and Carlos Gonzalez, but no secret that tonight belonged to Chad Bettis.
Right here. Chad did everything and then some. Going out there tonight, 7 innings, shutout baseball. Are you kidding me?
I'm going to be honest with you. It's the stuff of heroes. That's honestly what I think of. I want to sit back and watch it again because it was absolutely incredible.
It gave you goosebumps. We can't wait to recap it right after this game. Guys, we'll send it back to you for the 9th.
All right, Jenny. Bettis is back, and Bettis was magnificent. 7 shutout innings for Chad tonight in only 90 pitches. Here's Greg Holland. He's looking for outs. Number 25, 26, and 27, Freddie Freeman will lead things off for Atlanta. And Freddie takes strike 1.
Freddie doesn't like strike 1. We're on the edge of the Subaru strike zone.
1 for 3 tonight for Freeman. Sharp single to right, 2 ground outs. 1-1. Mike Dunn on the plus side for the Rockies. Ground ball, that's fair. And another great pickup by Reynolds. And he feeds Greg Holland 1 out in the 9th. Who Wants Tacos fans, follow us at AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies Taco Special when the Rockies score 7 or more in a ball game. Greg Holland, league hitting just 190 against Greg. He's looking for his 35th save. This is Nick Markakis. He had a double back in the 4th. Made a scoring change. That ball that went under Swanson's glove with the in-between hop, I guess because he didn't put leather on it, good for Gerardo Parra. They just changed it to a base hit and an RBI.
It's like when an outfielder loses it in the lights or in the sun. Take that.
Absolutely. 1-0 on Markakis. Makes all 3 runs earned against Rex Brothers. Hit the other way. I'm going to bring up Kurt Suzuki.
Get on-demand access to the rooftop with the Rooftop Ballpark Pass. $96 for 8 games, include concessions credit. Choose the days and redeem your pass from your phone. Go to Rockies.com/rooftop for more information.
Suzuki had a double in the 7th inning down the left field line. He's 1 for 3. 3-0 Colorado.
Suzuki has faced Holland 8 times. Not much success.
First pitch strike from Greg. Holland very well rested because the Rockies did not have a late lead in Miami to protect. They scored 3 runs Friday, 3 runs Saturday, 3 runs Sunday. And getting swept by the Marlins. Here's the 0-1.
Probably people's first chance of seeing Greg with his face shaved the way it's been. Did it after the last game against Cleveland.
First time in his career he ever has blown back-to-back saves. Center field, Charlie retreats. That is the 2nd out. Bring up the left fielder, Danny Santana. Nice Tuesday night crowd in excess of 33,600. We've seen the return of Chad Bettis, who was brilliant for 7 innings. First pitch of the game with all the emotions he must have had. Pumped it right down the middle. Threw a ton of strikes. And a strike on Santana. Markakis will move up. First of 4 between the Rockies and the Braves. Two balls and a strike. And the 2-1. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Did not go. 3-2. The Rockies in Arizona began the day in a dead heat in the wild card race for the top spot. Arizona, they've got a tough set going. They're down in Houston, or excuse me, they're home, I should say, against Houston. And Arizona leading 1-0 in the 6th inning against the team with the best record in the American League. 3-2. Ball 4. And now the tying run comes up in Ozzie Albies. A little more drama than you wanted in a 3-0 game in the 9th.
The base hit by Markakis has broken bat single through the left side of the field, but we have not seen Greg Holland quite as sharp as he has been earlier in the year. Remember, this guy missed all of last season due to Tommy John. Start getting to August, there is fatigue. Goes to the All-Star game, that's not.
Albies takes strike 1 at 94.
Can't play
Big
the All-Star
leaguer
game
for just a couple of weeks, this kid. He does have a couple home runs. Don't be fooled by his size. He has a lot of pop. Oh, 1. Fooled badly there. 0-2.
You can always tell Greg Holland has his good slider when he falls off hard towards the first base side. There's no reason for Greg to throw anything other than that slider again.
Here's the 0-2. Pulled to second. Ball game over as DJ makes the catch. As it should be. On the night that Chad Bettis returns, the Rockies would not be denied. They win it 3-0. Save number 35 goes to Greg Holland. Mike Dunn gets the victory, but tonight was all about Chad Bettis in his return, and he was sensational. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. After battling testicular cancer, going through 9 weeks of chemotherapy, he came back. He threw 7 shutout innings, just 90 pitches. Did not come close to walking anybody, struck out 2, allowed just 6 hits. What a night for Chad Bettis. What a night to be out in center field and rejoice and talk about it. Here's Jenny.
All right, Drew, thanks so much. What an emotional moment we saw between Bud Black and Chad Bettis. Plenty of those tonight throughout the ballpark.
And Chad deserves everything he's going to get after this game because of what he went through and how he conquered tonight.
I am completely blown away by that performance. I think it was something that we'll talk about, we'll tell our kids about. Honestly, it was amazing. I'm so proud of him. I think his teammates are. We'll tell you about it coming up on the post.